Hello students, welcome to FTM classes. As I have told you, I have left only one portion from life process, that is your transportation in plants. We are going to cover it today, and from the next sections we are going to start your electricity. So all of the students, please like, share and subscribe, and let us start today's section. So students, we are going to start with transportation in plants. Okay. Now plants have slow transportation system. As you have already seen, in humans, mammals, we have a very active transportation system. But why do plants have slow transportation system? Now, plants do not move, and the major portion of the tissues present in the plants are dead. So the plants have low energy needs. So as they have low energy needs, so they can use relatively slow transportation system. So we must know what are the things that are being transported inside the plant body. So there are basically two types of materials. One is water and minerals, and second one is food materials in the process of photosynthesis and other substances. You have already read in class 9th that the xylem, it carries or transports water and minerals, and phloem, it transports the products of photosynthesis and some other substances. So let us start from the transportation of water. Now, the transport of water in xylem is unidirectional and is conducted with the help of physical forces and phenomena like your osmosis. And as you know, the water is only transported in one direction, that is from the soil to the leaves and other parts of the body. Now, how does it gets transported through xylem? Now, there are two theories related to the transportation of water inside the plant body. One is the root pressure theory, and second one is transpiration pull theory. Now, we are going to read about this in details, but before that, let us see two pictures. Now students, you can see here two laborers. They are passing the bricks. Now suppose the construction was work is going on for a one-story building. So there may be four laborers which are placed one upon other to carry those bricks. Now they are going to push it up to the other one. Again, the same process will be continued till it reaches to the required spot. Now think, if it would be a 10-story building, will it be possible to push all these bricks to the top level? Now it will become much more difficult. Now look at here. So if I'm going to pull the same bricks through, let's say, a bucket, okay, with a rope or maybe any such system, then the pulling of this would be easier. Now why I am showing those picture to you? Now those pictures are related to this root pressure theory and transpiration pull theory. Now what happens here in root pressure theory? The cells of the roots in contact with the soil actively takes up ions and increasing osmotic pressure inside the cell. Now the soil contains water and minerals. The root cells, they actively take up ions into the cells. Now when they take up the ions into the cell, the osmotic pressure of the cell increases and gradually the water flows into the cell. Now in this process, the water moves into the root cell, then gradually this steady movement goes upwards. That means you can say that there will be a push through which the water goes upwards. Now in this process there would be a steady movement of water. But think of, if the tree is very tall, then this pressure would be insufficient to reach this water to the top point. Now then what is the solution for this? The solution for this is your transpiration pull theory. There is transpiration, that means evaporation from the leaf surface. There is a pull, there is a suction. So how does it work? Now consider this figure where you have a stomata. In your stomata, during transpiration, the guard cells lose water. Now, if they lose water, they will try to take water from the neighboring cell by the process of osmosis. That means there will be a suction of water from one cell to another. As transpiration is a continuous process, so this suction will continue till the end of the root cells, and the root cells will gradually suck water from the soil. Now this will create a chain of suction that will always continue. But what is the problem? The problem is during night, in the absence of transpiration, if the transpiration would be less and there would be no transpiration, let's say, then how will it transport water? Now transpiration pull theory is very much beneficial or very much effective in case of very long trees, but when there is no transpiration during night, the root pressure theory is effective. So both root pressure theory and transpiration pull theory for the transport of water is very much important. Now you have transport of food and other substances. First comes translocation. Translocation, that means there will be a change of location. Now translocation is the process by which soluble products of photosynthesis move from one part to the other part of the plant body. This is called translocation. Now this translocation of material takes place by the help of phloem. Now this phloem, in the phloem, the movement of these materials is bidirectional, that means it goes upward or downward or both. So in this process, for the transportation of these food materials, phloem utilizes ATP energy for the transportation of these food materials. Okay. Now what happens? Now there would be a requirement of this nutrient at some point. Like suppose there is a paper delivery boy, he is going to deliver paper wherever it is required. Likewise, phloem, by the use of ATP, first of all it will carry the food materials by the use of energy, then water will get into it. Gradually it will get transported to different parts, and wherever the food material will be required, there will be low pressure, and the food materials will be delivered at that location where it is low pressure. Now what is the difference in transportation by the help of xylem and phloem? Now see here, transportation of water and minerals takes place in xylem, but in phloem transportation of food and other substances take place. In xylem the flow is unidirectional, but in phloem it is bidirectional. Xylem doesn't utilize ATP, so it takes the help of physical processes like your transpiration and your osmosis. But in case of phloem, it utilizes ATP to get energy for the transportation. So this is all about transportation. It has the life process. The chapter life process is now complete. All the portions have been covered. If you have any doubt, you can write it in the comment section. I'll get back to you. And from the next class, we are going to start a new chapter from the physics, that is your electricity. So students, like, share, and subscribe, and also refer to your friends to see these topics.